Paul, Eastbourne on Saturday. What are you expecting?
Tough game. Third in the league, aren't they, Eastbourne? Big physical team, but can play as well. It's a tough AstroTurf. It's not a particularly great AstroTurf. And obviously it's a very, very long trip, so we're in for a tough game.
Has training changed at all, bearing in mind the surface?
Well, we train on AstroTurf as well, which is, I mean, is it 8 or 9 AstroTurf pitches in the league? I think it's 8 or 9, and we haven't played on one yet. So it does changes the game. The bounce of the ball isn't as true as grass. Doesn't move as quick. So it does change things a little bit. But fortunately, we train on AstroTurf for the vast majority of the time, so it won't be anything we're not used to.
Since we last talked, a couple of players have left in one way or another. Jaden obviously out on loan, first of all.
Yeah, so Jaden's gone out for an initial 28-day loan. I think he's due back on the 8th of November. He's on a long-term contract. We think the world of him. See him as a very, very important player in the future of Torquay United. But he needed to play games. Obviously, without a reserve team, he needed to play games. So I think it's a good club for him to go to as well. They're top of the Southern Premier League, which is the league below. And he's played 2 games and scored 1 goal already, as I knew he would score goals. But it's just about minutes for Jaden.
And Collins?
Roddy's departed the club. Came in, and I can't fault him for his attitude and the way he was around the place. But Roddy's 30 years old, and he wants to play every minute of every game, and I couldn't promise him that. So that he leaves with our best wishes.
Are you looking, or are you close to bringing in replacements?
We're always looking. I had a deal done yesterday for a player. Agreed. The medical was sorted and the contract was sorted, and the media had been posted. And I spoke to him at 4:30, and it was all done. And at 6 o'clock, I got a call off his agent to say he'd agreed to join someone else. So that was very disappointing. But ultimately, I need players here who want to play for Torquay United and who are excited and proud to play for Torquay United. He obviously wasn't.
How are you looking injury-wise at the moment?
We're good. Moose has been training for he's done the last 5 sessions, so Moose is fit. Ed Palmer, we've had a different report from another specialist which is encouraging news, so he could be back sooner rather than later as well. So it's only Matty Wanacott really, who I think he'll be another 3 months minimum with his broken arm. But outfield players, no, we're fully fit.
So Dyer's now fully up and running?
Jordan Dyer's fully fit, yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that. Thank you, Paul.
No problem.
Long periods without competitive games. You had a couple of weeks, then a game, couple of weeks, then a game. Advantage or disadvantage, do you think? Time will tell.
I think so. If we go and win the next 3 games, I'll say it's been an advantage. It's one of those, isn't it? It does seem like, I'm looking forward to the game on Saturday. I can't wait for Tuesday night. It's been 4 weeks since a home game, which is, crazy. Listen, we spoke about it before, haven't we? It's far from ideal. It's when you're employed in football, when it's your job, you kind of live Saturday to Saturday to Saturday to Saturday. It's been a long time. There's only so much training you can do, and I don't know. I don't know. It's been an advantage because it's allowed us to get over some injuries. Matty Carson is now back from international duty. However, he didn't participate in any of the games, but he would have missed the Maidstone game, so he hasn't missed any games, which is great. I think it's 2 ways of looking at it, really. But try and stay positive, and it's been an advantage to us, I think.
And then it goes back the other way, because you can have Saturday, Tuesday. You've got a lot of games to fit in before the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big change again, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's getting your rhythm going again as well. 2 weeks off. It's getting back into the swing of football, and I mean the Saturday, Tuesdays. Being an ex-player and players rather play anyway. So, we've got decent sized squad. Always looking to add to it, obviously, as you all know. But we, as it stands at the moment, we've still got a competitive squad, and we can make changes if we need to. So, all good.
Have you managed to organise any friendly matches or games during the last? I'm sure you've been playing amongst yourselves, but
yeah,
it's easier said than done at this time of year.
Well, it is because everyone else has got a fixture, so it's it's not easy. But we had 2 weeks before the Hampton game, and we fared okay that day. So hopefully we can go to Eastbourne again and do okay.
Little bit of a different topic, Paul. The FA have appointed Thomas Tuchel to the England job. He's obviously got a very good record at club level. Wondering what your thoughts were on that, whether maybe English coaches might feel that it's not the best example to set.
Yeah, I get your point. We've had foreign managers before, and it hasn't really worked. He's obviously got a fantastic record, and he's obviously a top coach, but I don't think Thomas Tuchel or the FA will care about what Paul Wotton says, that's for sure. But it's I would rather have an English manager. I think they pump millions into St George's to bring through the next. And there's top coaches out there, top coaches. I was just watching a little bit on Sky Sports News, and Russell Martin, Southampton manager, made a very good point. It's really rare for an English manager to get a Premier League job unless you get that team promoted. So I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't sit right with me, because I just think it's a shame it isn't an English manager, because I think they get overlooked. There's obviously some top English coaches. So yeah, it's a bit of a dicey subject, really.
Yeah, fair enough. For Eastbourne, is that going to be an overnight trip?
Yes. Yep.
Great.
We're leaving in a minute. It's miles away, isn't it? It's a long old trip, Eastbourne. Yeah, but Eastbourne will be overnight for us. As I'm sure when Eastbourne play us, it'll be overnight for them as well. But yeah, we'll prepare as well as possible. Boys are just looking forward to a game, Clive, to be honest with you. And I'm sure the fans are as well. So we'll go there and, as always, give it our best and see where we are.
And you've already mentioned that Worthing then can't come soon enough.
Yeah,
and you want the fans here to really get behind the team again.
Absolutely. I mean, I keep saying it, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but this is huge.
Yeah,
it's absolutely huge. Was it 800-900 we took to Hampton? Feels like a home game. It's amazing. And home games here, it's obviously it's up to us to get the crowd up. I get that, but when the crowd are up, you can feel it, and you get an extra 5-10% out of the players. You do. It's human nature. They're critical to what we do.
Over the last couple of weeks, going in, work, and I'm sure you and Mike have been sort of planning stuff about what you might try and areas that you might tackle. Has anything struck you as being, we've been able to deal with that, we've been able to work on that either individually or as a group?
Yeah.
Obviously, you had the game last Saturday,
Yeah.
and a good win and a great result. Have you felt that you've been able to bring the squad forward in certain areas?
I think it's a good point. I think yes, yeah. The proof will be in the pudding on Saturday, but things in football don't happen overnight. It takes a long time for players to get where I want them to get to, as in pattern to play and all that sort of thing. I think defensively we've looked pretty resolute, pretty sound. I think we could have scored a few more goals. I don't think that's through lack of creating chances. I just think a couple of people said they got a bit nervous at Hampton, which I struggle to understand. I thought it was as comfortable a 1-0 win as you can get, but a second goal and a third goal would have been lovely as well. But I just think We train hard. We train really, really hard, and we put a lot of demands on the players. And we're no. I say it. I've said it a lot, and I'm repeating myself. We're nowhere near where I want us to be yet, and everyone knows that. But it takes time. It takes time. We've given ourselves we've had I would say a solid start. A solid start. But I keep like a 10-game review and where are we after 10 games and all that. It's where you are after 46 games. It's a long season. Football. It really is, a marathon. It's pretty endless, and we're coming into a stage of the season now. I think we've got 3 more league games, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. 3 more league games in October. We've got 7 in November, and an FA Trophy game. We've got 8 games in November. It's a relentless schedule. So we'll see where we are. But in answer to your question, we work really hard in training. Maybe the demands are too high sometimes, but it's I think you got to make them of the players. And I've seen in certain bits in games stuff that I want us to do great, and it's really pleasing. But we haven't done it over 96, 97 minutes yet. So that's the aim.
Yeah, and at least when you're drilling them, if that's the right word, and I'm sure it probably is quite a lot of the time, you're doing it off the back of 3rd, 4th place in the league, 5th place in the league, a fair number of points under the belt, so it's not like you're doing it, hey, come on.
Yeah, no, it's
a good base to be working.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not like we haven't got to pick the lads up before training, and say, come on, everything's okay. They're in a good place, and do you know what? They're a real positive bunch of lads anyway. I touched on the fact after the Hampton game that we were our starting 11 was quite young. Tonks, Krask, Dreyer, Carson, WJD. That's young. But what that youth brings is they're fearless. When you're young, you don't really care, do you? You're not. This is going to sound awful. I don't think they're really aware of what anyone's thinking or outside noises, or they're just living a great life playing football for a really good football club. Well, it's a great position to be in. So no, we don't really have to pick them up at all.
Matty Carson got taken away by Northern Ireland under-21s. I don't think he even got on the bench.
No, strange.
Have you spoken to him? Is he all right?
We was in constant, through WhatsApp. I was speaking to him a lot. Yeah, he's fine. He's good. I haven't actually seen him yet. I'll see him in a minute because he's back now. So he's obviously back to be involved, to be in the squad against Eastbourne. I'll ask him. I'm sure he's fine. I hope he's gone there and enjoyed it. And hopefully he'll get another call up. A bit strange that he didn't get on the bench, but obviously the manager there's got his reasons for that. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Ronnie Collins, you talked about the fearlessness of the younger players. Ronnie Collins, one of the older players, brought experience. Are you hoping to possibly replace him with a player of a similar ilk?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Those experienced players, they're tough to get, Patrick. They're really tough to get. A 30, 31-year-old who's been there and done it is not easy. Like I said, we lost out, or we didn't lose out. Player changed his mind yesterday, which was disappointing. The day before that, I spoke to another player who I was very keen on. But he's 28 and he didn't want to relocate with his kids, so it's difficult. I say all the time, recruitment's easily the toughest part of the job. Easily. I mean, everyone had a day off yesterday, and my ear was burning after. And when you see these ears, it's easy to make them burn when you're on a phone for that long. And it was a tiring day. I'm not sure I'm looking for another midfielder, to be honest with you. I think there's a couple of other positions on the pitch where we need strengthening, so don't ask me where. But no, getting the experienced ones in, Patrick's tough, really tough.